Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 22 Driver Career Mode with Williams episode 2 today for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. If you missed the previous video uploaded earlier today, the opening round of this series, then I recommend go and check that out. And of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel to see plenty more F1 22 Driver Career Mode episodes coming very soon. In terms of R&D wise, not able to do a lot, partly because those failed upgrades haven't come through yet. So we're going to purchase a minor engine power upgrade. It's going to come in for Australia as well. So we're going to have lots of upgrades hopefully coming in for Australia as well. One thing to note is I did try a go at some F1 lights, some supercars in the drift, and I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't that great, but I eventually got the hang of it. Not really getting anywhere near any sort of score as well, with just turning left and right really to try and earn the most drift. The annoying thing is if you evade the track limits, that you lose the points. If you hit the wall, points gone as well. There, I will be doing another video that's coming tomorrow, I think, on which is the fastest supercar in F1 22 as well. So yes, back to career mode, and R&D wise, Alfa Romeo have jumped ahead of Alpine. Alpine are the only other team other than ourselves not to bring an upgrade to Jeddah as well. So Ferrari and Red Bull look very close, although Ferrari, Leclerc winning the opening episode, spoiler if you haven't seen that already, earlier today. Mercedes also bringing upgrades there, but they're not quite looking as good as they are in real life in this career mode so far, because they were behind Ocon for half the race at Bahrain and lost out to Verstappen as well. So we'll have to wait and see what they can do and what we can do, because it's time for qualifying at Jeddah. Now, just before I was about to start my final lap, I got this little message: Sebastian Vettel is out the race. And all I can find, bearing in mind there's no replay cameras in qualifying unfortunately, is I think he's crashed into the wall on the left hand side there, where his teammate Stroll was going past. I can't confirm that because there's no, as I said, there's no replay cameras. Anyway, back to our POV, and Jeddah's had a little bit of an upgrade in terms of scenery. There's lots of sky-rise buildings and cranes that have appeared since last year's game. There's also a DRS change as well. Bearing in mind, this is only the second time I've actually driven this track in career mode. I've done a couple of other episodes or videos around here as well, but not in career mode as well. We are 3/10 up on our previous best time. It seems that you can always set, you've always been able to set your fastest time at the end of the session, but it seems that is the OP way to go about qualifying on this year's game, because everybody's improving except Vettel, who crashed. And I don't think Stroll's improved on his previous best time. Maybe he got yellow flags on his flying lap because of course of Vettel's crash. No red flags in this game, so therefore there is no stopping the session at all. But we are almost 8/10 up on our previous best time. Haven't done anything to the setup or anything, just a new fresher tyres and a fresh set of tyres put on the car at the end of the session. So this is a big improvement. What's it going to be? I think it's P13. It is P13, so that's definitely an improvement. And 2 out of 2, we've not been on the back row so far, as Leclerc outdoing everybody there. Verstappen improving to P3, but still Red Bull lacking behind Ferrari in this career mode until that performance patch comes out. Zhou Guanyu slowest of all. So from 13th on the grid, we'll have to see what we can do. Can we get points? Time for the race.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah, one of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, one of the biggest ports in the region, and now host to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Perez, Sir Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso, Russell, Bottas, Ocon and Pierre Gasly, Norris, Mick Schumacher, Phoenix and Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Alex Albon and Sebastian Vettel. Joe and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davison joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So here we are on the grid, and P13, and one thing, as I've said, I'm going to do this year is, compare the strategies between the soft to medium and the medium to soft, and it's the delta time is not that much different. So I think we're gonna start on the mediums. We're in P13. We're high enough to be able to implement this strategy, and we should be able to then try and jump a few people. We're not the only person doing this strategy. Ocon in P9, and then we've got Schumacher and Tsunoda as well. So we'll see what they can do as well alongside us. But 5 red lights then to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix at Jeddah. And 5 red lights around, and away we go. And it's a good start, better than Schumacher, who's had a bad start, but then he comes back at us to try and get ahead of Lando Norris in the McLaren, trying to go around the outside of Ocon there. He's had a poor start in the Alpine there. It's 3 wide, and at Jeddah, Ocon gives us a shove, and we lose to P12 as Verstappen has jumped Sainz off the line, and Sainz is not looking that great actually. Alonso ahead of Russell, just showing that Mercedes aren't that great. In actual fact, Sainz is coming into the pits, and this is why on the opening corner Sainz tried to go down the inside of his teammate, and his teammate had already closed the door. Sainz making a mistake, and that means that he has lost that position, has to come in to the pits at the end of lap number 1. Alongside Fernando Alonso as well, I think got damage in it as well. As we're having a look at Ocon, this is because I think there's a kerfuffle between Bottas and Russell there. We'll have a look at this now between Bottas going all over the place, trying to get past the man who replaced him at Mercedes in real life, and Bottas unable to get past in his Alfa Romeo. We're now become under attack from Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri car. He's not going to be particularly happy with ourselves ahead of him, considering the fact we've got 2 Red Bull contracted drivers in the Williams, and if anyone gets ahead of them, then it's not great for AlphaTauri, really, as Albon is not having such a good time of it, and he's actually holding up. I think that's Vettel and Stroll, Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu. As Tsunoda has to go around the outside far of the corner, we're going to just hold the top line. We are getting DRS from Ocon, so that we're keeping up with the pace. So it's a lot better here, a lot less traction is less OP here at Jeddah than it was at Bahrain in the opening episode, which is good progress, because it means that we are able to fight the AI at certain tracks where traction isn't such important, as Sonoda now is coming under attack from Kevin Magnussen in the Haas car, and Magnussen now is going to have a drag race with Sonoda and is going to stream past in the Haas and get through on Sonoda. And I think Sonoda actually comes in after slight contact, as Sonoda's teammate Gasly is not having a great time. He's going side by side with Valtteri Bottas. Russell has cleared off the road then, whatever issue Russell had as well. And here we can move back to our PV on lap number 5. Norris and Ocon once again having a fight, but this is the advantage, you know, they're all going to come into the pits now, apart from Norris, who's overcutting an extra lap to see if he can get past. But you know, all of those lot are going to be battling on the pit lane exit, and we've been joined by Charles Leclerc. Now, as a Red Bull contracted driver, we should be able to slow him up, and we have done a little bit there. It's not going to help us in our fight with Ocon, but I think I can reel Ocon in. He's not showing that great pace really, you know, and if he gets back in the traffic and starts fighting again when we make our pit stops, as Leclerc then streams past now the end of lap 7. Look, Verstappen is closing in, but he's not closing in enough. We are going to have DRS back from Leclerc, and we do actually let Verstappen through, but Verstappen not really fighting. You know, he wasn't really like all over the back of us, and not really pointing an overtake. Otherwise, I'd have let him through earlier than that in the track. But nevertheless, Verstappen needs to build his momentum, get back to winning ways, which he hasn't done so far. We're coming into the pits almost speeding, but not quite, so just on the limit there. Somehow I wasn't paying attention to the thing. I just pressed A and managed to get an optional turn in as well. When I was coming in, I completely and utterly forgot that I had to do that. But, you know, we managed to get the optional turn in, which is good because that's closes up to Norris there. Ocon's jumped Norris, but we have jumped Gasly, and I think Alonso as well. Bear in mind, Alonso did make an earlier pit stop as well. Banging tyres there with Gasly then as well. We've also jumped, as well, we've not jumped, excuse me, we were battling with Magnussen, but Magnussen is now fallen back into traffic, and Gasly there is going slow. As we're going to go 3 wide with Ocon and Norris. Ocon on the hard tyres, he's going to be slow, as well as we discovered with Ricciardo. It's a lovely 3 wide overtake between myself, Norris and Ocon. Norris, I don't think, will get Ocon. He does not, as Ocon has the better line into turn 2 as well. But of course, Ocon's not going to give up there. Even if he is on the hard tyre, that Alpine is a lot faster than this Williams car, and he is going to start powering away, as well as we're starting to run out of ERS as well to try and defend, as we're weaving all over the place, trying to break the toe. As Norris comes up the inside as well, we try and take the middle line the best possible. There's a little bit of contact there, I think, with Norris, and that's might be a change of front wing, as Norris tries to go this time is the outs of the racing line, and is he able to get past? No. Ocon has great acceleration there, and they're still going side by side, and in the end I think Norris might have slight damage, and Ocon there takes back the position as well. As we're looking at the 2 Mercedes car really struggling in a straight line, so maybe it's just the Mercedes power unit. Mark, we don't want any problems. We're on for our first points of the season. The tyres are really starting to go off there, and we might have a bit of a durability problem later in the season. Team radio.
It looks like we're experiencing an ERS software glitch. Good news, it looks like the fault's been fixed. Let's go.
Well, the fault clearly hasn't been fixed, Mark, because we've still got the issue, and it's now going to give us a sitting duck to Ocon, who's got DRS. Norris is indeed pit, and Ocon squeezing us to the inside. There's contact with Ocon, not willing to look at the traction he gets out the final corner, but then we are able to accelerate. But ERS he's offline as well. Ocon again, very aggressive, banging tyres as well into turn 1, and Ocon is desperate to get past us. He must be heard the radio from Mark to myself about the ERS glitch and wants to get past before we're able to do so. And we're deciding to get the elbows out with Ocon as well, and to try and defend this P7 as we jump to the final lap then. That's what Ocon doesn't quite do that. We're going to try and keep this position. We still got not ERS, and Ocon up to the line. No! Ocon gets us on the line. And we've lost P7. It's P8 in the end. It is our first points, but it could have been 7th. It could have been a great race for 7th place. And instead, it's only P8. To be fair, that's not going to affect us too much because we're not fighting really for the constructors, for drivers, excuse me, but the constructors for Williams. That's a bit annoying. And, you know, the last thing you want to do is lose a race by 4/100ths of a second. Albon in the end, 16th in the end, unable to do that as Bottas, Norris and Magnussen made a second stop there. So in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we've jumped to P8. Could have been, well, we would have still been P8 because Ocon's been really consistent there. 2 7th places now for the Frenchman. Alonso did get P9, but you know, Esteban is looking the upper hand in the Alpine team. In terms of the constructors, McLaren are last place. Oh dear. Williams, though, for us, we've jumped up to P6, but of course this will be a track-to-track swing, so we'll have to wait and see about that. Nice thing to note, we had that. We got a thanks from the durability department for spending time in the simulator, and we also gained some extra R&D points, excuse me, for the ERS fault, which apparently they fixed. So hopefully that's going to reduce our chances of further ERS failures during the over the course of the season, which would be good news because, you know, with the traction the AI getting at some of the corners, especially at Bahrain, wasn't quite as bad at Jeddah than it was at Bahrain. So, you know, there is a chance that, you know, we can fight the AI, and we did, although we lost out on the line, which is very annoying because, you know, I think we did well today to fight for P7. The car isn't there. We've got upgrades to come from Australia, which will be out tomorrow. So yes, until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.